Picks of the Week.
So this week I am going to start with a movie. I watched, it came out this week I believe, Enola Holmes on Netflix. Have you heard of this, Scotty?
I saw it on the outline yesterday, and then I saw it in Netflix's recommendations last night, so that's all I know.
Brilliant. Okay. So it stars Henry Cavill, who is Superman, a guy who I've just forgotten the name of. Oh, god damn it. That's really annoying. I had his name in my head a moment ago, and it is Sam Claflin, who fans of the Hunger Game will probably recognise him. He played Finnick in the Hunger Games movies. Helena Bonham Carter is in it. And also the main star is Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things. So actually pretty decent cast, really. Those are the main characters. There's some other characters in it who are recognisable, but most of them are actually from, I guess, British TV shows. Although there are a couple of actors from Harry Potter in it as well. So you might recognise a few faces. But essentially, it's about Enola Holmes, who is the younger sister of Sherlock and Mycroft Holmes. It's set in the late 1800s. And essentially, her dad died when she was a baby. Mycroft and Sherlock moved out when she was very young. So she was brought up by her mother. And her mother homeschooled her and taught her everything. But she didn't do normal lady things, because back in those days, women were taught sort of basic, writing and spelling and maybe a little bit of maths, but they weren't taught other things. So they were taught to do embroidery, for example, and how to stand and how to talk and how to cook, because that's the way it was back then.
It's a book on your head.
Exactly. Balancing a book on your head. That is actually part of the movie. They talk about that. But she did not learn all those things. She learnt things like science. She learnt about nature. She learned how to fight. So she did jujitsu, fencing. She played tennis and stuff. So it was things that mostly men would do. But her mum was teaching her how to do it because her mum was a bit of a rebel. And then one morning, her mum just disappears, basically. She just leaves. She hasn't been kidnapped. That's all they know. But she's just vanished. And essentially, Sherlock and Mycroft sort of come back and they find this almost untamed, wild younger sister who isn't very ladylike and stuff. And they're all a bit shocked. But she sets off essentially on her own path to try and solve the disappearance of her mother, like find out where her mother went, because it turns out the mother left a couple of clues behind just for her to try and solve. So there's an element of mystery that the mother is in trouble, but you don't really know what or anything like that. So yeah, she sets off on her own path, and she sort of that leads into some other dangers and things. And yeah, it's a really good movie. I like how it actually touched. Yeah, so it's a movie. It's not a TV show. It's a movie made by Netflix. And I like how it touches on the sexism that was rife at the time. And it's a key plot point for most of it. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like they're shoving it down your throat like some movies do. Some movies like to really make a big point about it, like feminism is good, and it's a hard balance. And feminism is a good thing. Equality is a fantastic thing. But yeah, some movies really try to shove it down your throat. It that can be off-putting at times. But this one, I feel like does it brilliantly. Does it so well. Millie Bobby Brown is brilliant in this as well. It's so good. It's actually a very funny movie. So it's got elements of mystery and intrigue and stuff within it. But it's so funny, and she really lends her hand to making it so good. It's like some of her facial expressions and stuff. And there's times where she breaks the fourth wall and just turn to the camera and talk to the camera. But it's done in such a good way. It's so good. I would gush about this movie all year, I think. Well, there's only a few months left. Okay, I'll gush about it for the next year as well. It's so good. Definitely watch it. It's just recently out. I really hope they make a sequel. I didn't realise this at the time, but it is actually based on a book by a lady called Nancy Springer. So it's not one of the original Arthur Conan Doyle stories. It's a more modern writer. So there we go. And Holmes and Sherlock come into it a little bit and sort of help out, or they're doing their own sort of solving of mysteries within it. So Henry Cavill and Sam Claflin, whatever, they do play a crucial role in the plot. So it's not just all about Enola. So they are building up the characters for all three of them essentially. So I feel like if they were to do a second movie, it would be really interesting. But yeah, she is brilliant. The movie's brilliant. Very, very good script as well. I won't say it's like the greatest mystery movie ever or anything like that. There are definitely better sort of mystery movies out there in terms of
Hmm.
that side of things, but just the way it all comes together is so well done. So yeah, have you got any questions there, Scotty, for me at all? Or
No, it sounds good. The Stranger Things kids are doing all right. If you watch the more recent It movies with, oh God, he has a name that doesn't sound real and I can't remember it now. Something like Hans Wolfblood or whatever the hell it
oh, I
is.
can't remember his name now. Yeah, I should probably Google that as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
the main kid in Stranger Things, he's been doing all right, and he is going to be in the next Ghostbusters movie. But yeah, I'm excited. I did see the Godzilla movie with Millie Bobby Brown in it. She has a. It's weird that there are even human characters kind of in that movie, but she was good in it. So this does sound like something I do actually want to watch. This maybe we'll watch it today because we did just watch the thing that I'll get into recommending. But we're in kind of a mystery movie kind of mood right now, so it'll be wasn't what's his name's not Minecraft, but all I kept hearing was Minecraft. Wasn't that like the chief of the police that reluctantly was working with Sherlock or something? I don't remember.
oh, Mycroft. No, Mycroft is Sherlock Holmes and Enola Holmes' eldest brother. So
Oh,
in
brother, that's yeah.
if
Okay, right,
if
right,
you
right.
ever watched BBC Sherlock, so the sort of modern take with
Yep,
Benedict
yep.
Cumberbatch, yeah, Mycroft's in that, and he works for the government. So I believe in the actual
That's
original books, he does work for the government as well. So he's got a high-paying job, and in some representations, he's actually more intelligent than Sherlock. Um,
uh,
but
hmm,
he doesn't use his intelligence in the same way. So Sherlock will in Sherlock's one of those characters who's actually a bit of a dick in most of the actual books. He doesn't actually have much emotions and stuff, and
right. Yeah,
he's addicted to drugs in the books and stuff. He's just not actually a very likable character, but he's just so intelligent. Um, he's almost like a Sheldon if Sheldon took drugs and like tried. He's got a curiosity for the world where he would actually try and experience things. Whereas Sheldon from Big Bang Theory, I'm talking about, obviously, won't
yeah,
do that. He's just very intelligent, but won't try new things. Whereas Sherlock would do that, and Sherlock is a master boxer and stuff like that. So he's good at fighting and all these other things. So
yeah.
yeah, violin as well. Whereas Mycroft is in some, as I say, some adaptations more it decides described to be or shown to be more intelligent, but
Hmm.
doesn't broaden his horizons as much. Yeah, and in this, Enola is younger. She's clearly very intelligent, but she hasn't got the same life experiences that Mycroft and Sherlock have. So that's also a really good thing I like about it. It's almost a contrast
Hmm.
of the three characters. It's brilliant. I really like that. So yeah.
Okay.
Um, oh, and just for the Stranger Things kids that you're talking about, Finn Wolfhard, is that the one you were talking about?
And
Yeah, there
Wolfhard.
you go.
That's
Yeah,
not a
there you
real
go.
name. That sounds like a freaking 1930s detective or something. Yeah.
Ah, Phil Morford here, see, and I'm here to solve the puzzle. Sorry.
When crime yells, the Wolfhard howls. I don't know. Let's get to work.
Brilliant.
Oh,
Cool.
boy.
So, what is your pick of the week, Scotty?
Yeah, my pick of the week. I had to think about this because I was like, what have we done that's not been screaming at my PS4? Or like a lot of bands have been doing online concerts, which has been cool. But last night we ended up watching for the second time the movie Knives Out,
Mm.
which we saw in theaters. It's got Daniel Craig, Jamie Lee Curtis, Chris Evans, Don Johnson, a bunch of stars in there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and for those that have no idea what it is, think of the movie Clue from the 90s, but current day, and the rich father, grandfather, whatever, was he committed suicide and he leaves his fortune to somebody, but or who is he going to leave his fortune to? And was it the was it his assistant? Was it whoever? Was the troubled youth? Or whatever. But no, it's a good whodunit film. I felt I was bummed out when we saw it in theaters because I learned then that Rachel had never seen the Clue movie, and so I think as a result she didn't enjoy the Clue movie as much.
Oh
Whereas
no.
I like Knives Out because it reminded me of Clue, um, which Clue is still funny. Some of the jokes have not aged very well, but it's still hilarious in a lot of areas. Knives Out has its funny bits. I definitely recommend it though for a good whodunit. We've seen it twice, and we want to like find the Blu-ray and still get that. Which, if you've not seen it though, be careful looking at the Blu-ray because there's actually spoilers on the cover. So
Oh,
like, maybe just somehow open it without looking at the front or back and just put the disc in and watch it. I found that out, and I think it's pretty cool. It's almost like how, sorry, it's almost like how one season of the show Lost. If you have the DVDs, there's actually spoilers when you open up the cases because on the front it has a whole cast, but then like within the case of one of them, it shows everyone that actually survives that season, like
oh
bullshit like
God.
that, which is cool if you've seen it. But if you've not, then you open it up and you're like, oh, so that's who dies before you're even watching the season
Yeah.
or something.
Okay.
So just be wary. At least for the American case, it has spoilers on it. But no, it's fun, and Daniel Craig does a good job with his character. There's a lot of it's good acting overall and all around, and it's just a fun putting things together. And it was cool seeing it a second time, kind of like how you try to figure things out, like the second time you see Inception or something like that. Not to that degree of hurting your brain, but it's good. And they did confirm a sequel, which is going to have a totally different cast, of
Ooh,
course, aside from Daniel Craig, which makes sense because he's the private investigator in the movie.
brilliant.
Yeah, so it's good. Knives Out is a fun time. We watched it on Amazon Prime, so it's free on there right now. It's free on Prime if you have Prime. But yeah, so otherwise, maybe just buy it. I don't know. There's not many like decent whodunits that don't try to that aren't like Quentin Tarantino and throwing sex in your face every left and right. So it's a good one.
Hmm.
Knives
Yeah.
Out.
Yeah. So
Have you seen that?
funny enough, I actually watched it last weekend. And
Oh, cool.
I was actually tossing it up to be my choice of picks of the week last week, but I didn't in the end. And then I saw Enola Holmes this week. I was like, Enola Holmes tipped it for me. But yeah, I loved Knives Out. It's the first time I saw it was last weekend. As you say, it's very reminiscent of Clue in some ways. I think that's down to the fact that it's a murder mystery, but they've done it in a funny, comical way almost.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like balls to the wall laughs at every minute. But it's very well done, and the comedy is very good. I was also just surprised the way it played out as well. Without giving any spoilers, it didn't play out like a normal whodunit, really.
right.
So I don't want to say any more than that, because anyone who's seen it will probably understand what I'm trying to say there. But yeah, I love
Yeah.
the characters in it. I love all the different characters and Daniel Craig's character. So do you ever watch The American Office, or did you ever watch The American Office?
It's the first season, but just
Oh,
that.
damn it. Okay. I think I've asked you this so many times. But there's an episode later on whether it's going to, I think the company is being sold or something, and they don't know if they're going to all lose their jobs and stuff. So Michael Scott, the office manager, basically, rather than like keep people working or send them home or anything, he basically holds a murder mystery party. And it's like one of those ones on like a CD, and it's like it's all set in, it's basically set in Louisiana, so it's like southern, like really southern American, like yeah, like with basically what Daniel Craig, like his voice is like.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, there has been a murder. I can't do the voice. Okay, I can't do it. But yeah, so they're all talking like that, and
I would so be obliged to do me your kindness of
yeah, it's like yeah. So when Daniel Craig started speaking, all I could hear was Michael Scott going, there has been a murder. Like, yeah, I do declare. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So yeah, and I think for the rest of the weekend, I was walking around talking with a Southern American
Jeez.
accent.
Sure, that was a blast.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, the only thing I don't like about Knives Out is the character trait that they give to Marta, in terms of how she can't lie. But I mean,
that's yeah.
you kind of because it's just so ridiculous that it's almost like something out of a Goosebumps book. But but eventually, like the movie's better overall that you just forgive that one silly thing and it just keeps going because it does drive the plot and whatnot. But
Yeah.
I will not. I won't say anything, but I remember when we saw it that I did kind of call out a part. I did. I'll tell you after. I'll tell you after.
Okay, that's cool. I actually did guess a couple of 2 or 3 of the twists in it.
Yeah.
That did pop up. One of them was quite early on, actually. I was like, Yeah, something's there, sort of thing. But
I bet I know what
yeah,
you're thinking of.
generally, I thought it played out really well. It's one of those movies that, even though you know what happens, I reckon I could easily watch it again. Because that's the thing, some murder mysteries, you've seen it once, you don't really need to see them again. But the mark of a good one, like Clue, for example, and this is, I reckon you can watch them many times. And that wraps up our picks of the week this week. And let's, do you want to quickly guess what Chris would have done this week? Let's have Chris come back into the conversation.
Jesus Christ, something probably happened on Shudder. Joe Bob. He probably watched something for Bloodsucking Geeks, which is clearly a more fun podcast than ours. I don't know. He'll say, "Yep, I've just been watching the Hammer films. Somehow I don't have time to play video games, guys, but I watched all 13 of the Mummy movies, so there you go."
Well, I hope you enjoyed them, Chris. Thank you. And that'll wrap up our picks of the week.
See ya.